Baba Vanga's 2025 predictions are terrifying, and some are already coming true. They called her the Nostradamus of the Balkans, a blind mystic who saw the future with terrifying accuracy. She warned of disasters before they struck, spoke of events decades before they unfolded. And now, her chilling predictions for 2025 have surfaced. What she foresaw will shake the world, a looming catastrophe, a discovery that could change humanity forever, and an event so shocking, it will make you question everything you know. Welcome to the Stargazer, where the truth hides in the stars, and the warnings of the past may be the key to surviving the future. Watch until the very end, because once you hear what's coming, you won't be able to look away. Subscribe now, hit like, and share this with those who need to know what lies ahead. The clock is ticking, and the future is already unfolding. The first of Baba Vanga's 6 predictions for 2025 is one that chills the bones of those who dare to believe it. She saw fire sweeping through Europe, not a metaphorical fire, but the raw, brutal reality of war. In her vision, she spoke of a conflict that would ignite like dry kindling, consuming nations in its wake. The whispers of history repeating itself grow louder as tensions escalate, alliances fracture, and shadows of the past take monstrous new forms. There will be no warning, only the deafening roar of destruction as cities collapse, skies darken with smoke, and millions are forced to flee, their homes reduced to smouldering ruins. She described a Europe torn apart, not just by conventional warfare, but by unseen hands pulling the strings, forces working in secrecy to push humanity to its breaking point. Leaders blinded by power, a world distracted by digital illusions, and beneath it all, a growing unrest that finally erupts. The war, she warned, would not remain within borders. It would ripple outward, its echoes felt across continents, shaping the fate of the entire world. The question is no longer if, but when. The second prophecy for 2025 is equally haunting, though it takes the form of a silent invasion, one not of bloodshed, but of the mind itself. Baba Vanga spoke of a scientific breakthrough that would shatter the very foundations of human communication. Telepathy, once dismissed as fantasy, would become real. No longer would words be the medium of expression. Thoughts themselves would bridge the gap between individuals. Imagine the consequences. Governments racing to control the technology, corporations seeking to monetize it, and worst of all, privacy ceasing to exist. In her visions, she saw a world where thoughts were no longer sacred, where a single stray idea could expose a person's darkest secrets. Relationships would crumble under the weight of unveiled truths. Lies would become impossible. Fear would take root in every interaction. But the most terrifying part, this ability would not be granted to all. Only a select few, the ones who wield power, would have access to this new form of communication, leaving the rest of the world vulnerable, defenseless, and exposed. The third of Baba Vanga's 6 prophecies for 2025 is one that teeters between hope and horror. She foresaw a breakthrough in science so profound that it would blur the line between life and artificial creation. In her vision, she spoke of laboratories growing human organs, beating hearts, functioning lungs, kidneys pulsing with artificial blood. No more waiting lists, no more desperate pleas for donors. Scientists, she claimed, would finally perfect the ability to cultivate life from nothing but cells, sculpting organs as if they were mere machines. At first, the world would rejoice. Imagine a future where no one has to die waiting for a transplant. A world where bodies could be repaired like clockwork, where death could be delayed indefinitely. But in the shadow of this miracle, Baba Vanga warned of something far darker, something unspeakable. If organs could be grown, then so could entire human beings. If a heart can be replicated, what stops them from creating soldiers without conscience, workers without rights, children without souls? The hands of science would no longer serve medicine alone, but power, control. and the darkest ambitions of those who wish to play God. The fourth prophecy for 2025 is one that shakes the foundations of reality itself. Baba Vanga claimed that humanity would make contact with beings from beyond our world, and not in secrecy, not in whispers exchanged by shadowy government officials. No, this encounter would unfold in front of billions, during a moment when the world is watching, a major sporting event, she said. A time when nations set aside their differences, when eyes across the globe are fixed on one spectacle. And then, in a moment that will divide history into before and after, something, or someone, will arrive. She did not say if they would come in peace. She did not say if their presence would bring salvation or destruction. But she did say that it would be undeniable. The world will watch as the sky opens, as an intelligence beyond our understanding makes itself known. Panic will spread, governments will scramble to regain control, religions will question everything they have built, and worst of all, the realization will sink in that we were never alone, that we were never the most advanced, and that we are now at the mercy of something far greater. The fifth of Baba Vanga's 6 prophecies for 2025 speaks of a discovery so powerful, so world-altering, that it will render everything before it obsolete. She saw scientists uncovering a new energy source, one that is limitless, untapped, and untainted by the destruction of fossil fuels. This would be the answer to humanity's greatest struggles. No more reliance on oil, no more wars fought over gas reserves, no more power in the hands of the few, while the rest of the world suffers in darkness. The breakthrough, she claimed, would come suddenly, seemingly out of nowhere, and it would have the potential to reshape civilization itself. But then comes the warning: the energy will be there, free for the taking, yet it will not belong to the people. The moment it is discovered, hands that have controlled power for centuries will move to seize it. Those who profit from scarcity will not allow abundance. Wars will be waged not with missiles, but with secrecy, corruption, and suppression. If this energy is released for all, humanity will enter a golden age. But if it is locked away, hidden behind corporate walls and government control, the world will remain trapped in the same endless cycle of greed, pollution, and decay. Baba Vanga saw the choice approaching: humanity on the edge of salvation or eternal enslavement. The 6th and final prophecy for 2025 is one that cannot be ignored. Baba Vanga warned of the earth itself fighting back. She saw the ice melting at a rate faster than anyone predicted, swallowing coastlines, forcing entire nations to flee. The oceans would rise, swallowing cities whole. Crops would wither, lands would dry, and water, once abundant, would become the most precious commodity on the planet. The air itself would turn against us, storms growing stronger, wildfires consuming forests, until all that remains is ash dot. She did not say this was a punishment. She did not say this was divine wrath. She simply said that the planet, after centuries of abuse, would reach its breaking point. And when that moment comes, there will be no turning back. Resources will vanish, nations will fall into chaos, and those who ignored the warnings will finally realize they were never in control. So, what if Baba Vanga wasn't just predicting the future, but warning us? Some of what she saw is already unfolding before our eyes. Turn on the news, watch the patterns, the signs are there. And if history has taught us anything, it's that those who ignore the warnings are always the ones caught off guard. But no matter how dark the future may seem, remember, there is always hope. While people like Nostradamus and Baba Vanga may have glimpsed what's ahead, never forget that faith, prayer, and the strength within us can change the course of destiny. No prophecy is stronger than God's plan, and you are never alone in this journey. Want to know what the stars reveal about your future? Check out the link in the description for a personalized reading. And if this video made you think, don't keep it to yourself. Hit like, share it, and subscribe to the Stargazer for more insights into the mysteries of the universe. The future is unfolding. Are you ready to see what comes next?